The Sanskrit Sutradhar is but an announcer and he is not present on stage while the play is in progress. The Oja of an Ojapali is the leading singer and he sets the chorus and lends the refrains. Thus Sankaradeva Sutradhar, donning a white turban and garment that has to a certain degree a Mughal look, has a very dignified and calm presence as well as a regal bearing and is very important for the Naat throughout. The Naat begins with a Dhamali, as the Gayan and the Bayan dance and sing. There is no written code for the Dhamalis to be carried out, and Dhamalis are of various types: Horu, Bor, No, Cho, Deva, Raga, on all, and the Kokha Dhamali. Not more than 3 of these can be performed in the different satras. It is not known which Dhamalis were in fact performed during Sankaradeva's time and which followed which. This is followed by the entrance of the Sutradhar, whose dance and song, the Bhatima, introduced to the audience, the Naat that is to follow. Bhatima is a eulogy to Lord Vishnu or Krishna or Ram or a Guru or a king. They are hence called a Deva Bhatima, a Guru Bhatima or a Raja Bhatima and are composed in the Brajabuli idiom and sung in raga to a simple tone. Sankaradeva had mentioned 3 Bhatimas: dramatic Bhatima, Deva Bhatima and Raja Bhatima, and his apostle Madhavdeva added the 4th, which is the Guru Bhatima. Sankaradeva organized the Chihna Yatra, a dramatic representation aided by paintings. The paintings were done on handmade paper, which is called Tulabai, where the celestial abode of Lord Vishnu, Vaikuntha, was beautifully represented with great enthusiasm. He also took the help of the potters of Kapilimukh and the cobblers of the Salmara village to make mridangas and several varieties of cymbals, which are mandira, kutital and bortal. He also saw to the effects of lighting as well as providing fireworks. He himself played the role of Narayan. It is uncertain though whether a script was written for the purpose. Chihna Yatra was a drama proper, having slokas and songs and the other elements of a drama. It was traditional, and after its performance that had gone on for 7 days and 7 nights, it was an amazing truth that affected the people with its sacredness. Sankaradeva realized that the time has come for him to go ahead, and he began composing his verses and songs, which were so effective that people began to be converted to the cult of bhakti batch after batch. It was a Vaishnava Renaissance, a literary Renaissance, and the golden period of Assam's history. Sankaradeva, however, found it difficult to peacefully go ahead with his work, for there were constant skirmishes raised by the Kachari tribes. He moved away and settled at Guwahati, where chances brought to him the most important person of his life, his apostle Madhavdeva. But the 2 great Vaishnavas were not left in peace to carry out their work. The priestly class of Brahmins, who did not wish to recognize their growing popularity with the people, spread confusion about them and presented rumors about them to the Ahom kings. Sankaradeva took it in its stride with patience. He knew that as a religious leader and reformer, he must make an effort to bring about peace in Assam that was disunited by diverse creeds and forms. Shaktism and Tantricism created a turbid atmosphere, and the salve of Eksharan Dharma was vitally necessary with its comprehensive outlook on life. His ankas and nuts took shape as a result of his experiences. Madhavdeva was like a shadow of the great saint, respectful and compliant. If Sankaradeva only revealed the secret of bhakti, his apostle Madhavdeva brought the religion of love and devotion very close to the people's heart. Although Sankaradeva began the history of Assamese drama from the 16th century, it was only later that Madhavdeva began his dramas, which are called Jhumuras. Sankaradeva's dramas have all the 7 elements. The glamour of the assembly is brought about by the Gayan and the Bayan. The Sutradhar, in a regal manner, satisfy the connoisseur of the dramatic art. The priestly class of the Brahmins prefer the songs. The simple rustic folks can comprehend the Brajabuli idiom. The commoners appreciate the mask and the effigies. In general, the deeds of Lord Krishna will crown the drama and make it spectacular. Dr. Neu thus states, the histrionic art was thus democratized by Sankaradeva in his zeal to popularize faith. The Jhumuras of Madhavdeva concentrate on the child Krishna with his amazingly lovely antics. The Jhumuras relate to the word Jhumur, which means a kind of love song accompanied with dance. Jhumuras of Madhavdeva have lots of dance and songs. The Arjun Bhanjan Jhumura, where Krishna, who was tied to an Arjun tree by his mother Yasoda for being naughty, was uprooted by the child as he tried to free himself. The Arjun tree thereby became instrumental in freeing Kuber's two sons. This reveals not only the cowherd Krishna, but also the godly powers that make him the receiver of bhakti. The presence of the Harsha, Vatsalya and Bhakti Rasa make the Jhumuras an established truth of the Bhakti Tattva cult. After Sankaradeva and Madhavdeva, there was a period of general lull as a period of decadence followed. The principal reason assigned to this was that writing in Brajabuli and having Sanskrit slokas did not come easily. The head of the Satras, the Satradikas, did write plays more as a devotional duty rather than as a desire to write dramas. The Ankas of Sankaradeva and the Jhumuras of Madhavdeva, when they are staged, the performance is known as Ankya Bhavana. However, those plays which are penned by the Mahantas later, which do not have the Brajabuli idiom, but the plain everyday Assamese speech, are just known as ordinary Bhavana. The plays mostly written after the two great Vaishnava saints have quite some violence in them. The characters too seem highly bizarre as they are associated with Vat and Haran. The different villages that stage their Bhavana will bear the responsibility, the reverence shown to the Bhagavad Puran is apparent as it is placed on the central structure. I was just speaking about, this is something very novel in Assam, considering the times. There was sometimes 12 bhavanas are shown all together. In case they plan to show 12 bhavanas, a huge panel is put up to have a centrally 12-faceted circular ground plan. These are covered by wood or bamboo and have a three-terrace structure at the middle with 12 stages all jutting out from the central structure. The reverence shown to the Bhagavad Puran is apparent as it is placed on the central structure. On the third terrace is placed on a horai, a holy book like the Kirtan Khokha or the Nam Khokha. The stage is though a makeshift one, a great plain structure. The roof is covered with kher or dry grass. In the center of the roof, a round urn-like structure is made to make the entire structure look like a temple. History always has a tendency to affect the flow of life of a people. This fact was in a very dear manner proved true in Assam when the Burmese, or as they are better known as the Mans, attacked the land disastrously, not once but 3 times in a row. One would shudder at the mere remembrance of it. In 1826, it was the Britishers who came to the rescue and repulsed the Mans, who took a beating, and life in Assam again began on an even scale. The conquest of Assam by the British became for the land a landmark that distinctively aided in the development of modern Assamese literature. The Treaty of Yandabu in 1826 therefore stands as a reminder of colonial impact on Assamese drama. The old Vaishnava plays were enacted and people's spiritual lives were balanced on an even scale, but there were certain aspects of life that really necessitated what we get. The Britishers had, due to the ignorance of the Assamese language, forced the Bengali language on a people who had their own, both as a medium of learning and as the official language. This fact had honestly created great annoyance. It took the noble initiative of people like Anandaram Dhetial Phukan to set things back in the correct perspective. It was by the year 1873 that public pressure and the works of the missionaries aided the publication of books in Assamese. By this time, a few Assamese youths who had come to Calcutta for their education, the names are Gunabhiram Borua, Hemchandra Borua, and Rudraram Bododoi. At this time, Gunabhiram Borua name tops the list because in 1857, he wrote a play called Ram Navami. Ram Navami reflects the ills that degraded the lives of the people with the evils of social customs that were replete with ignorance and superstition. This was the first modern play in Assam with a secular theme around which spun the social world where evil was rampant. Some critics consider Ramnavami to be a free adaptation of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, but they fail to see the social reality of a young child bride turned widow, experiencing an attraction for one of the opposite sex even after she had lived with her earlier child husband.
I would like to conclude now.
Okay. Shall I do one thing? Like in between, of course, a lot of other dramatists have come in, and among them, Lakshinath Bedborwa was a very famous name, and he was followed by many others. After that, I would like to jump a few years and come to the time when Assamese playwrights started, sort of being influenced by absurd drama. Shall I come there?
No, I think we have 5 more minutes to conclude it.
Okay. Then let me tell you, let me come right to the present times. The 21st century Assam has made some advancement in dramas which are offbeat. The name of Satyaki Dikom Bhuya comes to mind. Okay, so a recent play of Satyaki, Romeo and Juliet at TRP happened, is a wonderfully brought out play. The story presented on Valentine's Day a pair of college-going lovers from affluent households whose parents were dead against their union. The media found this a wonderful opportunity to raise the TRP of the channel and invited the parents for a talk show that will be conducted in the presence of a shrink. The TRP, as was to be expected, shoots up. The media mogul Rajesh Bhuya advised the 2 young lovers to announce that they will commit suicide if the parents do not agree to their union, and that this will be telecast live so that the TRP shoots up further. What happened was that the lovers, however, proved the bluff of the television channel. The play becomes a satire and a comment on the media. Modern day technology has helped in staging this play, of course, very brilliantly. After this, there was a poetic drama was written, and after that, there are 2 things which I would like to conclude with. One is, a group that is brought out by, which is called Dapon. It was brought out by Pavitra Rabha. Why I want to talk about this is that they present soul-touching drama. The first drama they present, the name is Kinu Kong. You know, the way Kinu Kong, what do I say? It expresses a lot of despair. It is because the entire cast is full of, the drama is staged by dwarfs, and they are, no other normal people are there. And the play which they perform is Kinu Kong. It was a huge success. The other play which is performed by the Rabha community, and they have formed a group which is called Bandangdapa Kala Kendra. Now the name Bandangdapa is a musical instrument which is very popular with the Rabhas. So they have brought out in which a dramatic group in which they stage all the folklores and folk tales of the Rabha community, which was hardly known earlier. So that after this, I would like to conclude. The centuries have seen Assam passing through religious and spiritual experiences. saw blood and tears, intrigues and advancement, but time did not pause. It went on at its own pace down the corridors of life, and the Brahmaputra flowed on. The spirituality had brought faith, the farces gave laughter, the history brought awareness, and at the crossroad we realized there was more to it, more truth, more reality, more tears, and yet more courage for endurance. The thinking caps of the new modern times may show us skeptical and dubious faces, but to coexist we need to co-understand. All in all, it is a great march, the march of a civilization that is not as helpless as a turtle on its back. We find the fecundity of upfront thoughts has really nothing to the chagrin of the development of drama. They are the voice of the new generation. The voice do not deprecate Sankara Deva and Madhav Deva, but follow in their footsteps to bring good to the land. We have arrived by the side of the new modern times. Thank you.
Thank you very much.